Well, hello there everyone and welcome to episode 1 of Building RYLOTH and LEGO. So yes, we'll be building RYLOTH based off of season 1, episode 21 of the Clone Wars, leading up to Brick Fair, Virginia in August. So hopefully we'll be able to bring this mock to Brick Fair, Virginia. Of course, if I can get it done in time. This is the earliest I started a mock before, but unfortunately I don't have as much time up until like the summer because of college and I'll only really be able to work on the weekends and breaks. So I'm going to try to make as much progress when I can, but for right now I'm going to be calling these episodes, not weeks, because there's no way I'll be able to make weekly content based off of this mock with the amount of time I'm able to work on it. So for this first episode, we're going to be looking at the plans for the mock, as well as my main focuses are for this build, as well as getting a little bit of building done. So anyways, let's get into this first episode of Building RYLOTH. So rather than drawing out my plans for the mock, I thought I would actually block it out to kind of give you a better sense of scale for how it's going to turn out. So this first line is going to be the mountainside. That's going to kind of come up to about this height around here, and then the rest of the mock is going to take place up that high. This is going to be the main battlefield, and then this is going to be the capital. You kind of have the main control tower right here, and there's going to be 2 gates that are going to be coming out, and that will lead to an entranceway into the capital. Then we'll have these 2 walls flanking from either side of the main control tower, where I am hoping to kind of give a castle siege aesthetic to the entire build. Then over here is going to be the main landing pad area, where in the episode you see Wat Tambor loading up his shuttle with a bunch of treasure that he's stolen from the civilians. So I think that'll be a fun little scene to kind of create over there. Right here we're going to have the bridge. It's going to come up here. I'm not going to build the terrain on the other side. It's going to be the main focus on the actual capital itself. Could be interesting to kind of have the entire bridge, but it's just going to be too much because I really want to focus on the actual building. On the end, I kind of made use of some studs and plates, kind of give like a dissolving effect since it's not going to be the full bridge. I just thought that would look more interesting than just being a flat cut off. But looking at some of the figs for the Republic side, we have Mace Windu with that beautiful arm printing right there. We have some ARF troopers. For these 2, I use the body from the newest Phase 1 clone trooper, which I have a group of over here as well. These 3 are just extra in case I need more, because the rest of them are over here with the ATRTs, my ATRT design, which I updated for this mock. So this is another aspect of the mock that I really want to focus on, and that is lighting. So I picked up this gun control board from Light My Bricks, which kind of gives it the gun flicker effect, which I quite love. So I'll definitely be including this in the mock. I got a light for Mace Windu's lightsaber, and I got some other stuff that will be useful for this build, hoping to light up the bridge as well. I think that'll be cool, maybe an explosion or 2. So I'm really excited for that. For the Separatist side, I have this beautiful AAT model from Brick Vault. Absolutely beautiful, better than anything I could do. So I'm really happy that I picked this up. I love it. I'm going to be included probably in that same area right there. In the episode, they do come out from the door, but I don't know if it's going to be big enough for that. So this is another aspect of the build that I really want to focus on, and that is colors. So I created a gradient going from dark orange, medium nougat, dark tan, olive green, sand green, and dark green. I think it gives a really nice flow of colors, and you can kind of see right here exactly what I'm thinking of. So basically how it's going to work. So dark green can only touch sand green can only touch olive green and dark green, olive green can only touch sand green and dark tan, and so on and so forth. So you kind of see this in practice right here. I quite love it. The only thing I want to possibly change is maybe getting rid of the dark green. I just think it might stand out a little too much. So that's definitely something that I'm going to keep working on, and also the actual terrain techniques is not final. All right, moving over here, I do have my Separatist droids. So I have all my B1 droids. I have some B2 battle droids in here, commander droids, droidicas, all those I'm planning on including. The commander droids, I want to recreate the scene with the 2 ARF troopers. I go up to turn on the bridge, and then they have to fight off the commander droids. I think that will be a fun scene to recreate. And then over here, I do have a blurg design that I'm working on. Not entirely finished yet. I do want to rework the tail design and also the main body. I think it's a little flat on the top there. But I am happy with this Freedom Fighter design. So I'm making use of A-list Secures parts for that to make a Twilight Freedom Fighter. So I'm pretty happy with that design. The other one, on the other hand, I am actually making use of minifig arms for the Leku, and this is a design I've seen before used by other people. I don't know if I'm happy with it. I think I'm just going to stick with using either the official parts from LEGO or looking into some custom options. But now I'm hoping to finally start building on this mock. I've been waiting to do that for a long time, and I'm planning on starting kind of with like the black border. I'm planning on doing like a black border design around the mock, and then hopefully starting building up some of the rock work. For the rock work, I'm planning on starting actually with dark bluish gray, and then maybe working into some of the old dark gray, and before transitioning into the dark tans, the medium nougat, dark orange, all that for the rock work. But I think that'll both look nice and also help save on some parts. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that.
4 to 6 weeks later.
So unfortunately, it's been quite a while since my last clip. I had many reasons, but mostly because of college and stuff like that. But I have made progress, and the most notable change is that I finally got those new tables in. So I got some of these nice IKEA tables, and rather than the old folding tables that I had. A consequence of this is I did have to shrink the mock. So I did get rid of one row of gray base plates. I was already kind of thinking about getting rid of that last row of base plates. I saw it might be a little bit too much. Also thinking about how it's going to display at Brick Fair, because at the moment with this layout right here, this is how the public would see it at Brick Fair. So now that I know that I'm going to kind of have this orientation, I know where the black border needs to be built up. I know I'm not going to have it on that end right there. But most of the progress is in this front portion right here. I started with this black base right here, and kind of going all the way around. I have the start of the black border, building up some rock work, and starting on the bridge, the rock work. Originally, I said that I wanted to start with dark bluish gray rock work and then transition into this dark tan, medium nougat, and dark orange rock work. Originally, I think it would have worked because I was planning on the mountain to be a little bit higher, but since it's only about this height, I don't think it will work. I think it's gonna look a little too out of place, a little messy. If it was higher, then it would have made a bit more sense to do that, to conserve on bricks a little bit, and I thought it could have given a nice effect. But since it's so low, I don't think there's any point in it. But looking into some of the details, you can kind of see that gradient that I was talking about. We have the dark tan here, medium nougat, and dark orange. So that's how it's going to be through the entirety of the rock work. I have some little plant life detailing that I was messing with. So I have some of these leaf pieces. I'm making use of these hoses to give some like tree limb or something like that sort of effect. I'm kind of threading these two together, and that's going to attach somewhere later on in the rock work. And for the rock work itself, I'm kind of taking some of the aspects that I've learned from my Ewok Hunt mock. If you haven't seen that, check out my Instagram. That's an Instagram exclusive mock. But in that mock, I ended up using up a lot of hinges and plate modifieds to kind of give a more natural, I think, kind of look to it. And in that, I made use of a lot of larger wedges and slopes, which is, you kind of see what I'm doing right here. That gives us some openings to get some of that plant life to kind of more meld into the rock work. And I thought that with a mix of kind of transitional rock work, using a lot of slopes and snot bricks, I think would give an interesting effect. And so far I quite like it. We'll see how it looks continuing upwards. Now focusing on the bridge, one thing that I said that I really wanted to do was to include lights. So at the moment, I do have 2 lights in there right now. Originally, I said I was going to go with Light My Bricks, but for the bridge, I'm going to go with the official Lego lights that they released a couple years back. And the reason I'm doing this is because it has a more concentrated beam of light. So the bridge is quite thick, so I needed the light to kind of penetrate through the entire thing. And with the official Lego lights, you get more of the beam kind of coming through. With Light My Bricks, it doesn't really do that as much. So I'm going to order on Bricklink another pair of these lights and put them like right here and here, kind of get 4 beams of light going through the entire bridge. So right now the bridge does sag just slightly. I do have a solution that I think will hopefully fix that in the future. But in terms of the actual bridge, I do have quite a bit of detailing here. It kind of curves around on the bottom right here, which I tried to make as accurate as I could to the actual show. And I have 2 angled portions right there with a lot of texturing. So for the texturing, I have 5 separate pieces that I am making use of for all the texturing in all the buildings in this mock. The first thing is these headlight bricks, putting them on the side like this so you can see the stud. And then I'm also making use of the masonry bricks, adding those in to add a little bit extra brick detailing. Some rounded tiles, mixed with these 1x2 rounded plates. Give it also extra interesting kind of brick texture. And then finally the ingot pieces. Mixing them all of these pieces together to give a variety in texture, but something that doesn't look too messy, something that very looks intentional. Now the final thing I do want to focus on is that I did rework both the ATRT and the blurred design again. So the ATRT main focus was the legs here. So what I needed was more friction in the legs, so I make use of those mechanical arm pieces to get more friction so that it can actually stand up on its own, doesn't have to be connected to studs. Also rework kind of the front portion, front armored portion to kind of get more accurate shaping to it. Overall, quite love this design. That 1x2 tile should be olive green though in the final version. And then with the blurred design, I really reworked a lot of this, except for the head and the legs. Those mostly stayed the same. The main changes were the body, the tail, and the arms. So of course I made it a lot more natural feeling. The original design was very blocky with the body, so I rounded that out, made it a bit shorter, squished it because it's a very stubby creature. And then I also changed up that arm design, kind of changing up that front claw design right there. And in the final version, the saddle is going to be dark brown. I just didn't have a lot of the pieces for it, so I just didn't bother. Now right now this one is in dark bluish gray. I have designs for a light bluish gray one, a reddish brown one, and then as well as a black one, to kind of give variety into all the blurs. I also want to try to look and design like a green and a blue one, since you do see those colors in the episode. So I might try to do that. It's just going to take more time since those parts are a lot more limited in the overall variety of parts that are available in those colors. So I actually ended up drawing up a new plan for this mock. As you can see, it's now in 3x3. So you can see in the kind of bottom, you had the black border that I started working on in this episode. And then moving on to that main green battlefield is where the main battle is going to take place. That's going to be a sizable portion of this mock. And then we have the capital, which is in the gray. So I have these arrows, which are kind of showing the direction of the Republic and the Freedom Fighter troops. So we have kind of three main arrows. They're kind of coming from the bridge. And then there's going to be three main skirmishes in this battle, three main scenes. So on the left, we have a battle with the AAT. I'm going to have it fighting a couple ATRTs. Probably have an ATRT blown up, and I'll be able to light that up with some lights. That'll be fun. And then on the main channel, the main arrow, you will see Mace Windu kind of leading the charge like we see in the episode, going through that main gates. And then on the right, I thought it'd be fun to include some clone troopers kind of scaling the walls. Even though that's not something we see in the actual episode, I thought it'd be a fun little detail to include, just using some ropes to kind of scale the walls of the Capitol. And I'm sure I'm going to have some clone droids on the top of the kind of walls of the Capitol, kind of firing down, even though that's, again, not something we see in the Bad Batch episode that we see the Capitol in. You'd see Hunter and Echo, they scale the walls when they're trying to sneak into the Capitol, and there are some clones patrolling the top of the wall. So I thought, hey, the droids probably had a similar thing during the Clone Wars, so that'll be a fun detail to include. So yeah, that's pretty much a new plan for this mock. I'm sorry the video was a little messy, a little cluttered. There's some issues with the scheduling to get stuff filmed and building, and I'm not going to go into it, but as I said, I'm planning on getting this build done for Brick Fair, Virginia. So this is the earliest I started a build for Brick Fair, but this is also larger than Umbara, so it's going to take more time to build. Also, I don't have as much time during the school year to build. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get this build done in time. I also have a couple side projects in the work that you'll see coming up on the channel in the future. The next episode, of course, I want to get the kind of black border done, the rock work, get a sizable portion of the rock work. That's probably going to be the main focus, is going to be the rock work. I really want to go in depth with my thought process for the rock work and kind of what I'm thinking about when I'm building that. So yeah, that's what's in store for next episode. Thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to watch this video. Have a great day. Goodbye, everyone.